And good evening, everyone. March 30th. It is going to be 7:20. How was everyone's day? My day was very productive. I got a lot of things done. And so let's go over some news, science news. Let's check this out. I remember that last time we just clicked science news updated and they were putting something from 6 years ago. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with like CNBC, ABC, or any of those type of mainstream media news outlets. I already explained yesterday. I probably didn't clarify when I said mainstream media. I meant mainstream media news. So mainstream media news is something I'm not going to be at all. I mean, it is just too. After this news update, I'm gonna go ahead and make another video on the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG Media Compact, the United Nations 2030 Agenda, and the Smith-Mundt Act of 2012. So I'll be going over those topics later on. As of right now, we're just gonna look up at what's going on top news here on YouTube. This guy's pretty cool. I seen a lot of the crash courses from years ago, and I thought he did a good job. Is his show biased? Yes. Are they ran by mainstream media? Yes. Do they add a lot of propaganda within there? Yes. But let's go over it and see what we see. Say it's alright. Now, I did try getting rid of the ads, and for some reason, I can't get rid of them. It won't accept my payment. I believe it may have something to do with, having multiple accounts. Here we go.
If you're a fan of space exploration, 2022 is shaping up to be a don't miss year. Like, we got one mission that's been 30 years in the making, another hoping to study oceans millions of...
I'm sorry, guys. We did see this one. Let's go to the next one. We covered that one yesterday. That one's 2 months ago. That one's 11 months ago. That was BBC News. We covered that one, which I shouldn't have, because we know BBC News is part of the SDG Media Compact. Find something better. Scientific breakthroughs of 2021. Should we go over that? That would be funny, because that's 1 year ago. Oh, wow. This one looks good. Scientists make unexpected discovery on Jupiter. What the hell is that? Come on, Globies. Explain that. Why are you guys like... Is that like a god? Is that a celestial being? What is that? Let's figure it out.
Scientists' perspective of the solar system has changed dramatically since NASA's Juno Probe arrived at Jupiter in July 2016. The $1 billion project captured incredible photographs of the...
$1 billion? And they're not photographs. He's lying. They're not photographs. According to NASA, all of that is digital data. And that digital data is then interpreted by imagery. They don't have... It's not like they got a Polaroid camera, guys. Okay, they don't go into space with the, even under their own crap that they say. It's not like they go up there with with an old 35mm camera. They don't do that. They don't go up there with a camcorder. They don't say they do that. Okay, everything they say is imagery, is data enhanced imagery, and all kinds of words. Those celestial angelic telescopes that are looking out, supposedly, according to them, according to their cartoons, all right, and according to their information, those are like digital imagery capture technology. All of that is digital imagery capture technology. That's what they say. They admit that. They literally say that what we're seeing is imagery that's made after the data is processed. So, and as we can see right here, it's cartoons, dude. Come on, guys. Come on, bros. Come on, dudes and dudettes.
Gas giant, hundreds of millions of miles away from Earth. More crucially, the tennis court-sized spacecraft has used a suite of high-tech instruments to study some of the planet's deepest, darkest secrets. So what did the Juno spacecraft find on Jupiter? What other spacecraft sent us back unexpected findings from the gas giant? And why has the latest discovery left scientists completely baffled? Well,
why is there an astronaut there? What the hell is that about? Are they like, you know, like as if an astronaut, not even under their mainstream media bullshit, do they show an astronaut floating around Jupiter? For goodness sake. They never even made it to the moon. I could easily disprove that because there's no telemetry reels. They're like, yeah, we got the telemetry data that we saved after. Prove it. They can't because the reels are missing, because the reels never existed. It was a TV show from the 1960s. It was propaganda meant to piss off the Russians, or maybe just the public to think that we're pissing off the Russians, and the Russians and the Americans are, you know, probably working together, most likely because, you know, they are United Nations founding members. They are part of the world reserve currency, the monetary system that's in place. They're part of the IMF. They're ran by the IMF. The International Monetary Fund bankers run the guy runs all these guys, and the telecommunications and the propaganda. Like I said, I'll follow up on another video in regards to how the mainstream media propaganda is used to socially engineer humanity. As of right now, though, this is ridiculous. Like this cartoonish imagery shit that we're watching, I have no reason whatsoever to allow that to influence me, you know, as it comes to perceiving reality at all. There's no difference from this skydiving, deep sea diving suit idiot here and an angel. Like, this is ridiculous. He is literally swimming in the waters above. Like, that's biblical. That, like, they knew they would get humanity's attention with that crap. They're like, well, you know what happens when you go, you know, down into the ocean? This is what it looks like, because that's what this is. It's the waters above. As above, so below.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Jupiter is sometimes referred to as the king of planets because of its size and prominence in our solar system.
Wrong. He's the king of the gods. Jupiter is a king of gods.
The reason for this is that it is the largest. The term kinghood has been used in several societies throughout history. It's brilliant and it shines out against the night sky. Amazing photographs from spacecraft show that the exploration of Jupiter has been going on for hundreds of years and is still going on today. Every 12 Earth years, Jupiter makes a complete circle around the Sun. Jupiter has a long year due to its distance from the Sun of 483 million miles, or 778.5 billion kilometers.
Amen, preach, brother.
The longer it takes for a planet to complete one orbit, the further away it is. Long-term watchers will see that it passes in front of each constellation for around a year. Even though Jupiter has a very long year, it only has a few hours of daylight. One revolution around its axis occurs approximately every 9 hours and 55 minutes.
Amen, brother. Amen. Teach those numbers.
As various sections of the atmosphere rotate at different rates, creating powerful winds that sculpt the clouds.
Just like my coffee cup.
Jupiter is the most massive planet in the solar system, with a mass 2.5 times greater than that of other planets.
Wow.
Because of its enormous mass, it has a gravitational force that is 2.4 times greater than that of Earth.
Wow, like Geoff's mom.
Jupiter is also a kingly figure in terms of size.
That's more massive than Geoff Broad's mom.
It has a diameter of 273,000 miles, or 439,264 kilometers, and a volume huge enough to hold the mass of 318 Earths.
Earths.
Jupiter's atmosphere...
Now, when he says that, what type of Earths are we talking about? Are we talking about the oblate spheroid Earth? Now, is it chubbier on the bottom? Because I don't see none of these other celestial spheres seem to be oblate. They look pretty spherical.
Unlike Earth's, stretches to the core and touches all of the planet's continents and oceans. It is not, however, gas all the way down. Higher pressures and temperatures cause hydrogen to become a liquid at some point, and it turns into a metallic liquid as it gets closer to the core, encasing a little rocky inner. Jupiter has a swarm of moons. According to planetary scientists, there are more than 60 small bodies orbiting Jupiter, and there are most likely at least 70. Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, the planet's 4 largest moons that orbit close to it. The rest are...
So those are like the little angels that float around the God of gods, the King God Jupiter, and all his little like angelic satellites. This is hilarious.
Smaller, and many of them could be asteroids that have been captured. When we first learn about the solar system as youngsters, we are taught that
this whole thing about all these like circular, I could go on and on about how that's totally religious. And on top of that, that is totally flat. That is a disc. That's a flat disc. So it's funny how like Nemesis and the Globies and all kinds of other people, try to make fun of flurfs, flat earthers and stuff. Because, it's the same concept, basically. It's how you're perceiving reality. And everyone, like, you globeheads are like perceiving reality on a flat disc, no matter what. So I understand why you guys like get so mad and want to go attack flat earthers. I see that, because you guys are literally mad at yourselves. I could easily look up imagery that shows specific gods holding up these circles within circles within circles, okay? Because that is in Revelations. It's biblical, or maybe it's in Ezekiel. I don't know. It's one of those guys that said, gave an apocalyptic account or visions of his account of their visions, apocalyptic visions that they had, and I believe it was John in Revelations that said he's seen a circle within a circle within a circle. That's exactly what we're looking at. Now, must I remind you guys, Copernicus was a Catholic Church canon, okay? Galileo was hardcore Catholic. No, he was not an atheist. He was definitely Catholic, all right? And what he was trying to do was define the heavens. Okay, all right. So if you're sitting here and you believe there's circles among circles inside circles, then you are actually following a biblical belief system. Let's keep going.
Planets all orbit the sun in their separate orbits. If you were one of the many individuals who were astonished and even upset to find that Pluto isn't a planet, you might want to brace yourself for yet another surprising cosmic discovery. Jupiter does not actually revolve around the sun, but it still does have an orbit. None of the planets revolve around the sun in a perfectly round path. In actuality, the sun and other planets orbit a common gravitational core. Because the sun is so much larger than Earth, our center of gravity is near to the center of the sun, giving the impression that we are traveling in a circle around it. This is also true of every other...
Why isn't the moon traveling around the sun? That makes no sense. That makes literally no sense. Why? And they're like, yeah, because of mass, I'm like, oh, come on, man. There's no way for you to differentiate that. How are you going to sit there and say that because of the different mass? Okay, give me the number where the mass changes from the moon rotating around globus Earth as opposed to rotating around the sun. That makes no sense. All right, give me the boundary. I mean, there must be some type of boundary or line, imaginary number, where okay, yeah, all of a sudden the moon is no longer attracted to the Earth because the sun is way bigger.
Planets, with the exception of Jupiter, the gas giant. Now, if Jupiter isn't orbiting the sun like the rest of the solar system's planets, what exactly is it doing? Jupiter's size causes the sun's center of gravity to be pulled away from the sun's center to around 30,000 miles above the surface. That means that the sun and Jupiter are both orbiting the exact location in space. The barycenter is the technical term for that position. Unlike the other...
Jeez. How could there be a center in space? There is no up, there is no down, there's no left, there's no right. These guys are just so dumb. I mean, it's no wonder why globeheads are like stuck in a couch and lost, lost with their mind stuck around all these delusions. This is ridiculous. They're like the barycenter. The barycenter of where? Supposedly space has no up or down. How could it have a center? Jeez.
The smaller planets, Jupiter does not orbit the sun in addition to this combined center of gravity, since the point is dragged away from the sun's center. Jupiter's gravitational pull causes the sun to wobble slightly. All planetary bodies have a shaky relationship, but Jupiter is the only one large enough to make the effect obvious. Contrary to popular belief, Jupiter even has its own ring system. If you have everyone draw the planets, you'll probably end up with some big ones, some small ones, and just one with rings, which would be Saturn. But that is incorrect. Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus all have rings, although they aren't as apparent as Saturn's.
So Uranus has a ring. Sorry, I had to say that. I had to do that.
The discovery of a thin dust ring encircling Jupiter is one of the most significant achievements of the Jupiter exploration era. Voyager 1 captured a photo of it in 1979. But the Jupiter ring is not really a visible ring set. According to planetary experts,
so is that a photo
the majority of the system's dust comes from a few minor moons. Astronomers have been captivated by Jupiter for a long time. Galileo used his telescope to study the globe after he developed it. He was taken aback by what he saw. Around it, he saw 4 small moons. Astronomers were able to see the cloud belts and zones as their telescopes improved.
They did not see what we're seeing on this image. I don't say screen because I'm a field engineer. I know the difference between looking at the screen and look at the image on the screen. So the image on the screen that we are seeing is not what anybody has ever seen in a telescope. Ever. Now, if you look through a telescope and your mind shows you this type of imagery, you are brainwashed. You are seeing propaganda in your mind, not with your eyes. Okay? Let's go over how your eyes work. Your eyes work with your mind. All right? Sometimes the eyes will not see certain things because the mind has been tricked. Any great illusionist will tell you this, or magician if they want to call themselves so. Okay? The eyes will see what the mind wants the eyes to see. That's why they say the hand is quicker than the eye.
Spacecraft have sped by in the 20th and 21st centuries taking ever better photographs and data. The Pioneer and Voyager spacecraft were the first to conduct up-close investigations, and the Galileo spacecraft completed the series by circling the planet.
Both Voyager and Galileo are names that go back into Admiralty law of Galileo, and that has everything. Those names have been used over and over and over again and again and again, okay, because of commercialism and Admiralty law. Now, beyond that, there's no way the 1960s or 1950s technology is floating around in deep space and talking to anybody. That is stupid. That is the most dumbest shit ever. That just makes no sense at all. I have no reason to believe any of that. Okay? They're sitting there talking to the heavens, you guys. That's what they're saying. They have a direct connection to the heavens, but you don't. Okay? That's what they're saying. They understand the heavens, but you don't, because you don't have a direct connection to the heavens.
And doing in-depth observations. Also, the Cassini probe to Saturn and the New Horizons spacecraft passed by and collected data. The extraordinary Juno mission, which has obtained exceptionally high-resolution photographs of the gorgeous clouds, was the most recent mission expressly aimed at studying the planet. Jupiter's poles have never been photographed from above or below before Juno arrived in July 2016. The probe sailed across Jupiter's poles and returned data that left scientists in awe for the first time. Although observatories such as NASA's Hubble Space Telescope had detected auroras at Jupiter's poles, no one had previously viewed the enigmatic regions in detail shown by Juno. We've never seen or imagined anything like that. There are a lot of storms up there, and the sky is bluer than anywhere else on Earth. Latitudinal bands, zones, and belts are nowhere to be found. In fact, it's hard to tell if this is even Jupiter in the shot. In addition, the planet's weather is significantly more complex than previously assumed. Juno's initial close approach allowed scientists to peel back Jupiter's atmospheric layers, like an onion, revealing hundreds of kilometers of hydrogen, helium, and other chemicals. The zones and belt structure can still be found deep down. So, whatever is responsible for those colors and stripes is still alive and well deep within Jupiter. Many of the scientists were taken aback by this. According to further research, belts and bands may start more than 1,900 miles beneath the gaseous surface of the planet. In addition, NASA provided stunning photographs of symmetrical storm clusters. Multiple shots were taken in infrared light, a wavelength that is ordinarily invisible to us, were used to produce the images. The scientists then...
Did you guys hear that? Let me back it up a bit.
Whatever is responsible for those colors and stripes is still alive and well deep within Jupiter.
So something is alive and well deep within the, you know, the eye of the god of the planets. The god of gods. This is hilarious. I'm surprised they haven't like started bringing up. It's weird how like they're like neglecting Saturn because he's like another god. Like these gods didn't even get along. According to everyone, that's what they looked up in the sky and they were like, "What's going up there?" Like, man, can't you see? Jupiter's chasing Saturn. That motherfucker's on the run.
Many of the scientists were taken aback by this. According to further research, belts and bands may start more than 1,900 miles beneath the gaseous surface of the planet. In addition, NASA provided stunning photographs of symmetrical storm clusters.
Okay, so right there he says stunning photographs.
Multiple shots were taken in infrared light, a wavelength that is ordinarily invisible to us, were used to produce the...
Did you guys hear that? First is stunning photographs. And then all of a sudden he switches it up and says that, oh yeah, it's, you know, we can't see these, you know, these lights and stuff, and it's an infrared, and watch, they're going to say that some type of computer translated that data into this imagery.
Images. The scientists then combined the images to make them 3D models, emphasizing brightness and temperature. Also, Jupiter's Great Red Spot indicates that the planet is water-rich. Many of Jupiter's moons have water and may even have large oceans that aliens may live in. However, Jupiter appears to be dry on the surface, and finding evidence of water molecules within the planet has been challenging.
What the hell? First there's water, and then no, it's dry, and no, it's been challenging. This is so, like, oh my god, these guys are so confused. It's no wonder globals are like totally lost on their couch. They're like sitting in their couches, but they're lost in space.
Suite of sensitive instruments and ultra-close flybys, Juno is tackling this dilemma. Juno's data was coupled with data from the Great Red Spot acquired by telescopes, giving researchers a more detailed glimpse of Jupiter's atmosphere. They determined that the planets may have 2 to 9 times more oxygen than the Sun, and we all know how essential oxygen is for water. Furthermore, Jupiter may have a fuzzy core that is far larger than previously thought.
It's fuzzy?
In the depths of Jupiter, hydrogen resides in a semi-gaseous, semi-dissolved condition, hence the term fuzzy. In contrast, Earth has an outer liquid that moves around a solid core. Jupiter's magnetic fields and dynamo may be powered by its fuzzy core, similar to the metallic dynamo in the Earth's core. Previously, it was thought that Jupiter's magnetic fields were caused by hydrogen, which is usually a gas, but had been compressed into a liquid metal state. Even now, the experts are unsure. That's not the only thing about the planet that's puzzling. Jupiter's auroras are strangely being propelled by an enigmatic force. The magnetic field of a planet is the source of auroras. This field collects charged solar particles that are thrown into space and races them towards the planet's poles. When the particles collide with gas atoms in the atmosphere, they produce a spectacular light display. However, Juno scientists revealed that Jupiter's polar auroras had 10 to 30 times more energy than expected, and that this energy is primarily released in ultraviolet light, which is undetectable to humans. Furthermore, when the globe spins into darkness, the auroras dim. Jupiter's auroras are still a mystery to scientists, but they believe it has something to do with the planet's enigmatic plasma field. Moving further, Juno found evidence of a new volcano that may have formed on Jupiter's moon, Io. Juno's infrared camera discovered what appears to be a previously unknown volcano on the moon. It is estimated that the world has 150 active volcanoes. Still, the amount of material erupting from the planet's surface and traveling into space suggests that there may be an additional 250 lurking in the shadows. It's a powerful reminder of how small we are and how much more there is to discover in the world.
Suck a dick.
Thanks for watching another episode of Voyager. And while you're still here, make sure
Oh god, that was horrible. I was hoping to see this God thing. It's like there was a God thing right there. Like, look at that. What's that? So they bait you to click on it, and then in the end they're like, it may, it possibly, and blah blah blah, and we don't know, and hopefully keep your fingers crossed, give us $1 billion, we'll figure it out. All right, this is okay. This is alarming. Telescope. Oh my God, a black hole. No one's seen a black hole. That's ridiculous. A black hole leads to where? How does that work on a flat space-time, globozos? Because that's what you guys believe in. Believe. Yeah, you guys believe that we are on flat space-time. And Newton used to say it was like a billiards table. And Einstein ended up saying, no, it's not like a billiards table. It's more like a stretchy fabric. So if there's a stretchy fabric, so you got a stretchy fabric and you got a hole in it. Holy goddamn. This is hilarious. Let's find out. Let's listen to this one.
Black holes are known as the voids in space that eat up everything in their way.
When they're hungry.
A black hole is a place in space where...
And you know how they eat everything? They turn everything into spaghetti. That's where that whole the Rastafarian religion came from. It's a satirical religion making fun of the black hole hypothesis and fairy tale stories. I mean, they're talking about spaghettification. If you guys look it up, spaghettification or noodling, the noodling effect. That's what they call it. So some asshole came up with the flying spaghetti monster. So the flying spaghetti monster has everything to do with this black hole, spaghettification, and noodling effect crap. That, it's hungry and there's noodles and spaghetti. Amen.
Gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. It is so weird that even if we happen to fall in
a tiny space within space? What the fuck?
To a black hole, our bodies would be ripped apart through spaghettification. But thanks to the powerful Hubble,
I told you guys,
this perspective has changed. Not all black holes are the same. Instead of being death, they can produce life. Yes, you heard it right. Scientists have found a black hole that is creating new stars instead of eating them. Isn't it strange? How is it happening? What is this strange new species of black hole? Where did it come from?
Species? Where did it come from? Oh my goodness. We're talking about a void of nothingness. And now that void, in which all these years everyone has been like, yeah, this void of nothingness spaghettifies and noodles everything and eats everything in its path. Now we have one that's not only eating, but it's shitting. Yeah. And out of this shit, we're out of this black hole shitty hole, out of the black hole shit hole. Oh God, this is hilarious. It's so funny. Okay, so out of the black hole shit hole, it brings life. Is that like, like maggots turning into flies coming out of your shit? Holy fuck.
So many other questions about this life-giving black hole will be answered today. Welcome to Cosmos Lab, your one station for all the news from space. Join us in today's video to find out about the new star creator. Hubble's performance is due in large part to its great altitude.
How weird. Look at the like. It's 666 likes. Let me dislike that. See what happens. Oh, still nothing. So, yeah. Anyways, 666 likes? Come on. That's like... Isn't that like Pythagoreanism, satanic numberology or some shit like that?
Above the atmosphere, which eliminates several effects that impede ground-based observers. It has been collecting groundbreaking science observations that have transformed our fundamental knowledge of the universe for almost...
So, thanks to these angelic contraptions, humanity's mind, or its mass mind, the population, the people's mind has been changed. Listen to what they're saying, guys. Listen to what they're saying. You have to pay attention to every single sentence they say because they're exposing themselves. And that's exactly what he just said right there. Okay? He literally said humanity was changed by this.
31 years now. It made some amazing discoveries, including 2 moons of Pluto, Nix, and Hydra, the rate at which the universe is expanding, created a 3D map of dark matter and the age of the universe that we know today, 13.8 billion.
How can you make a map of dark matter? They've never seen it before. They contradict themselves so fucking much.
Years is also because of the Hubble. In this list, Hubble has just added another major discovery by seeing a black hole that is triggering the star formation instead of devouring them. Hubble detected this black hole that is generating stars rather than destroying them in the tiny galaxy Hennes 2-10. It's a 30 million light-year dwarf galaxy in the southern constellation Pyxis. According to recent estimations, the dwarf galaxy has a mass of around 10 billion times that of our Sun. The Milky Way, on the other hand, has a mass of around 1.5 trillion solar masses. It's also classified as a starburst galaxy, meaning it has an unusual high rate of star production. This galaxy is known for testing scientists' assumptions. Apparently, the black hole is contributing to the firestorm of new star.
Assumptions and apparently. You guys should look those words up. Because I have no reason to believe in assumptions. Apparently so.
Formation occurring in the galaxy. Galaxies that have active galactic nuclei, small regions of the center of a galaxy that emit large amounts of energy in the form of radio, optical, X-ray, gamma radiation, or high-speed particle jets, exhibit black hole-driven outflows. These events probably play a major role in heating and expelling gas, thereby suppressing star formation, as they do in larger galaxies. The Hennes 2-10 black hole, discovered a decade ago, sparked a dispute about whether black holes created in small galaxies are proportionate to enormous black holes seen in larger galaxies.
Black holes have never been seen.
Which has a mass of 1 million suns.
Okay, right there. If that's what that's all. Okay, so everything falls into the bottom of that, and then where is the bottom of that? How is there a bottom to space or a bottom of the fabric of space time? Like these CGIs are the main reason why I started questioning all of this. Like, this is so stupid. Going back all the way to Carl Sagan crap. Like, this is ridiculous. Why would I look at this and be like, oh yeah, I should see this in my mind because they're putting it in front of me. And when I think of a black hole, like, this makes no sense. That's a whirlpool, goddammit. And a whirlpool's on Earth, all right? And we know how whirlpools work. They head to a certain point towards the bottom of the ocean, and then it evaporates. It goes back, Like, what are you trying to say by this? Is there a bottom to the space-time? The fabric of space-time has a bottom to it? Show me the edges.
Has also sparked thoughts that black holes develop before galaxies do. The link between black holes, galaxy development, and star formation, on the other hand, is still unknown. According to researchers from NASA's Hubble telescope, black holes' villainous reputation as destructive creatures enslaving light isn't totally accurate. According to the researchers, new Hubble views of the...
So they're monsters or they're not monsters? Do they like spaghetti or do they not like spaghetti? This is confusing.
Black hole in Hennes 2-10 demonstrate that it contributes to the galaxy's firestorm, which is manufacturing new stars at unprecedented rates. NASA also explained why this particular black hole deviates from its own species' irresponsible conduct. Also, the black hole in this tiny galaxy is smaller than those analyzed by NASA. Because black holes have such tremendous gravitational attraction, some material that falls into them may be deflected and released as jets due to...
How can you fall in space? There is no direction according to you, stupid morons. This is hilarious. Like, these cartoons are just horrible. You gotta be really like naive and gullible to believe any of this. This is like, they might as well just add a unicorn right there.
High magnetic fields. The black hole in Heaney's 2-10 is smaller, and the material it ejects moves considerably more slowly. The speed is exactly right for compressing the material sufficiently to form stars. This is not it. According to NASA, Hubble can observe the black hole's outflow snaking across space like an umbilical cord until it reaches the bright star nursery. According to Hubble's measurements, the outflow is flowing at 1,000,000 miles per hour.
Oh,
it smacks into the dense gas of the star nursery at this speed.
Relative to what? How would you, like, this is relative to what? Like, when you say something's moving fast, it has to be relative to the ground, relative to its environment, relative to some location. Now, according to these idiots, space has no direction. It's not up, it's not down, it's not left, it's not right. This is ridiculous.
Causing it to spread out like a garden hose hitting a pile of soil. NASA has discovered young star clusters everywhere along the outflow's course. In a published issue of Nature, Amy Reines, the principal investigator on the new Hubble Space Telescope investigation, said, 10 years ago, as a graduate student, thinking I'd spend my career on star formation, I looked at the data from Heaney's 2-10 and everything changed. Amy Reines, in a press release, said, from the beginning, I knew something unusual and special was happening in Heaney's 2-10, and now Hubble has provided a very clear picture of the connection between the black hole and a nearby star-forming region, 230 light-years away. Why is this astonishing for researchers? Because typical black holes' ejected material jets are heated beyond their ability to cool back down, compress, and form stars because the jets usually travel at light speed. So, the NASA team was taken aback when they discovered that Heaney's 2-10's black hole was doing exactly the opposite. It was assisting in the formation of new stars. According to NASA, Heaney's 2-10, which can...
I could easily Google, how long does it take for a star to form? And it'll say like fucking millions of years or some stupid crap like that.
Contains 1/10 the number of stars found in our Milky Way galaxy, can play a significant role in resolving the mystery of where supermassive black holes originated in the first place. With that, we have come to the end of our video. Everything that we know about this universe is the result of the untiring efforts of scientists and the advanced technology they make. Hubble has done its best part in space observations, and now its successor is going to revolutionize the studies. Maybe we can find some other black holes that can generate a world like ours. What do you think about this life-giving black hole? Share with us in the comments.
Wow, that was horrible. Sorry guys, but that was horrible. Am I supposed to like, I mean, they literally like let it like tell you that you are insignificant, you're stupid, you mean nothing, you are meaningless, and you know you got these spaghettification monsters running around, you know, in the voids, because they're made of voids, but sometimes they shit out stars. Like, It's just, geez, I honestly don't. I have no reason to. I have no reason to believe any of that. That is hilarious. Honestly, I have no reason to believe any of that. That is, and it's, they tell you believe, you know, like these scientists believe, and it's like, and they're the ones telling you. They're like, they are the ones that have the direct connection to the heavens, not you. Only they can tell you. We'll do that one tomorrow. We'll give you some, give us some other views. The daily news of science. Let's go over this one. Elon Musk is pretty. Well, that's 5 months ago. This one's 3 months ago. That one's 1 day ago, and that's pure CGI from the government. Bizarre Space. That's a whole year ago. 1 month ago. 3 months ago. The Unknown Universe Space documentary. That's too long. Oh, here's one 2 days ago. And I seen Elon Musk. You guys love Elon Musk. Let's see what he's got to say.
Say it's alright.
And so Elon Musk supposedly is SpaceX. But I myself have rejected both SpaceX and NASA job sites. I did accept a JPL job site, and going through the JPL facilities, it was such of a hassle, and it's so decompartmentalized, and you get stuck in isolated areas where you can't get out until someone lets you out. I mean, honestly, it's basically a big prison. JPL is. So having said that, I was not about to put myself through that all. You know what I mean? When I'm doing independent contractor jobs, most of them are not hourly, and they're flat fees. Which is, you know, if you've been keeping up with the lawsuit that I have going on against Amacor and Black Box, you know what I'm talking about. You know, most job sites I will not accept as hourly wage, because most people don't comprehend the employee versus independent contractor statuses or classifications within the telecommunications industry, especially on the field, where specialized trouble calls and service events are generated, where they don't need an employee all the time on site. You know, the system goes down once a year. You just need someone to come in and handle it. And so that's where I'm at, you know. And so going back to that, I have literally rejected the SpaceX and NASA job sites. I literally put it on Facebook, on my I believe that on both Simon Ramos and Simon J. Ramos account on the Facebook, before they were completely zucked by Mark Zuckerberg and you know, the Facebook corporation. And I talked shit about them. I will not go and work for any of these, but I will tell you this, that I have passed by, I have looked at them, and SpaceX is contractually obligated or contractually bound to NASA. So everyone's like, yeah, they're not the same thing. Yes, they are the same thing. They are most definitely the same company, or same corporation, or same entity, or same agency, if that's true, you know, whatever you want to call them. And that's a fact. So yeah, I have no reason to sit there and think that Elon Musk is working against NASA in any way or form, nor is he working against the United Nations in any way or form, because that's the NASA, ESA, JAXA, and all the other space agencies, all of them, they're all part of UNUSA, the United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs. Okay, so I have no reason to believe that Elon Musk is some type of special guy, or some type of savior, or he's against the elite, or he's fighting Putin. And like, no, he's not. He depends on Putin. He depends on him, just like everyone does. All right, everyone depends on this whole petrodollar fossil fuel system. Okay, all the way around, from the financial aspect to the transportation, to communication, to everything. Everything has to do with the petrodollar system, okay? Putin and the United States are both the same, as is China. They're not different. They're not different entities. They're all United Nations sellouts. They sold out their populations to the central bankers. That's what's going on. Okay? All their constitutions, everyone's constitution is being literally challenged or thrown out because they want everyone to adhere to the United Nations Constitution. It's that simple. All right? So I have no reason to believe that Elon Musk is some type of savior.
When you want to travel a long distance, say from one continent to another, you book an airplane flight expecting to spend some hours in the air. However, when it comes to space travel, you need to travel faster because all the points of interest are so far away. Space explorers have always been searching for a way to travel faster than light, which will allow them to get to deep space more quickly. Basically, all the methods discovered have significant drawbacks, but scientists have found a new way. How does it work? What are the requirements? How soon will you be able to travel with it? Join us as we bring you a new way to travel faster than light. Light is fascinating and very important.
Wow. Okay, if you guys want to check this out. Okay, so according to them, light travels because of particles, right? So, and we see light because particles are traveling, according to them. Right, according to them. Okay, so hypothetically speaking, if we were traveling and we caught up to photons, we caught up and looked at a photon or a bunch of photons, we're moving at the same speed as the photons. Hypothetically speaking, we would no longer see light. As a matter of fact, everything would freeze because according to Einstein's space-time continuum, you violate that by reaching the same speed as the photon. And physically that would never be possible. Even under their hypothetical scenarios, there'd be no way of actually moving, at the speed of light without your body getting spaghettified. Oh, my bad.
Because without it, it would be difficult to watch this video. Thanks to the sun and other artificial light sources that humans have come up with, we can walk without running into objects unexpectedly. However, you have probably heard light travels and travels fast. But how fast is light? Interestingly, the exact speed of light is known and is the basis for most other measurements. The speed of light traveling through a vacuum is exactly 299,792,458 meters, or 983,500,000.
So how do you get 983 million miles per second? I mean, were they like standing, 983 million miles apart and timing it? No, they weren't. Okay, this is nonsensical.
171,056 feet per second. That means light will travel about 186,282 miles in just 1 second. Light is so fast that if you switch on a bulb in a dark room, the light fills everywhere nearly instantly and you won't notice that light travels. Another unit of measurement involving light is the light year, which is the distance that light can travel in 1 year. This value is about 6 trillion miles or 10 trillion kilometers. It is one way that astronomers and physicists...
Okay, here's something you guys will trip out on. Light travels, supposedly they say, at a certain speed. Then it hits a medium, say glass or water. Okay, light supposedly slows down through this medium. Now look, when it comes out of this medium, light supposedly, according to their own research, light supposedly speeds up again.
measure immense distances across our universe. As mentioned earlier, the universe is so vast that it can take light many years to travel from one part to another. To illustrate, light travels from the moon to our eyes in about 1 second, which means the moon is about 1 light second away. However, sunlight takes longer, requiring about 8 minutes to reach our eyes, meaning the sun is about 8 light minutes away. Light from Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system to our own, requires roughly 4.3 years to get here, so Alpha Centauri is 4.3 light years away. Other stars and objects beyond our solar system lie anywhere from a few light years to a few billion light years out. This is why everything astronomers see in the distant universe is literally history. When they study objects that are far away, they are seeing light that shows the object as they existed at the time that light left them. While there are a lot of fascinating things you can do with light, scientists have tried to find a way to travel at the speed of light. This is interesting as humans will finally become an interplanetary species. For instance, SpaceX billionaire CEO Elon Musk wants to form a settlement on Mars, but his explorers have to bear at the minimum 5 months of travel through space before touching down on the red planet. This can even reach almost a year depending on how close the two planets are, and that is with all the hazards it brings before touching down on the red planet. However, with speed of light travel, they can make a long trip in less.
Wow. What about that, the Van Allen belt? Uh-oh.
Than 4 minutes. Researchers have tried many different methods to achieve traveling at a very high speed. However, until a scientist announced the new discovery we will bring you in this video, there has always been a problem that all other methods could not solve. Even to achieve 1% of the speed of light, which is still plenty fast as it can take you from Los Angeles to New York in a little over a second, is very hard. The problem, in a single word, is energy. Any object moving has energy due to its motion, and physicists call this kinetic energy. To go faster, you need to increase kinetic energy. The problem is that it takes a lot of kinetic energy to increase speed. To make something go twice as fast takes 4 times the energy. Making something go 3 times as fast requires...
Okay, here's another contradiction. So there's no friction or way to slow down in space. So if you try to, according to them, right, you're breaking free of the globus Earth. You're in globus Earth, and you need to accelerate to break free of the gravitational pull, according to them. So you're going really, 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 really fast, and then you break free. This whole time you're accelerating upwards. You're not slowing down at all. You are accelerating. Then you hit space supposedly. So you left the atmosphere in acceleration. That your rate was in acceleration. So therefore you hit space where there's no friction or way of slowing down. Technically speaking, you would hit space in acceleration mode. You would continue to accelerate. There'd be no reason for you to slow down. Your rate would continue to accelerate because that's the mode that you left planet Earth, right? So the whole Apollo thing, how do you slow down fast enough to not, when you're going to go crashing into the moon or another other celestial sphere? None of that makes sense. A lot of this shit is just, if you use critical thinking skills, you could see that this is sky worshiping nonsense. There's no difference of watching this and then a Catholic watching a show about angels going up, or or humans going up with angels, and the angels explaining reality to them, and be like, they're up in the heaven and they see the lights, the more the celestial spheres, the other lights, they explain all that, and then you get to talk to God or whatever. You have a direct connection to God right there. None of us have that. Same thing. The Catholics, they have to believe in the Pope. The Christians have to believe in Jesus. You have none of us have this connection supposedly to the heavens. None of us. We have to. We need some type of medium or some type of interpreter or translator for that. That supposedly does have this connection to them. If you guys see what I'm saying, this is no different than Muslim or any of the Abrahamic religions. When you look up into the sky and you start worshiping stuff, and then you start idolizing, because this is idolization and logos. If you don't understand what logos are, then you understand that this is symbology. This is this is all a way to get into your mind and influence you. And they're using shapes and colors and basic child elementary like fucking tools. It's just used on a massive scale, and they're they expect you to believe this. I have no reason to believe any of this.
Is 9 times the energy and so on. For example, to get a teenager who weighs 110 pounds to 1% of the speed of light would cost 200 trillion joules. That's roughly the same amount of energy that 2 million people in the US use in a day. Take, for example, the EM drive, which was touted as the technology that would take us to the most distant parts of the universe very fast. This invention, which has even been patented, theoretically works by trapping microwaves in a shaped chamber where their bouncing produces thrust. The chamber is closed, meaning from the outside, it will appear to simply move without any fuel input or any thrust output. The EM drive relies on Newton's second law, where force is defined as the rate of change of momentum, thus an electromagnetic or EM wave.
Exactly what he said right there. The change of force. There's no reason why you would stop accelerating. The Apollo missions are literally impossible. There's no reason why that they would stop accelerating. They left the supposed planet Earth atmosphere, the globus Earth atmosphere, at an accelerating rate. That means they hit the vacuum of space while accelerating. There's no reason for them to slow down. They would continue to accelerate in space, according to their, and they just said it right now. Newton says, unless something's there to stop you, there's nothing to stop you.
Traveling at the speed of light has a certain momentum that will transfer to a reflector, resulting in a tiny force. This accumulated tiny force in great quantity is what enables the EM drive, which sounds simple but also essentially turns our understanding of physics on its head. No energy is going in or coming out, which makes us ask questions like, how are the waves initialized? How do they continue to move? And where is their momentum coming from? You can't have spontaneous created momentum without an explicable push, which is why many scientists don't even take the EM drive seriously. If the EM drive works, then it invalidates much of what physicists know about the universe. The EM drive was even put to the test by physicists at the Dresden University of Technology that showed that the promising results obtained by NASA and China showing thrust were all false positives explained by outside forces. However, the warp drive shows great promises, as shown by Dr. Eric Lentz, a physicist with over 10 years of experience in practical applications. Lentz wasn't even the first to work on making the warp drive a reality and not just sci-fi. The first person to attempt it was the Mexican mathematician Miguel Alcubierre. In 1994, his proposal became the beginning.
Ese pinche vato es pura madera. No le pongan atención. Está bien estúpido ese vato.
Beginning of the official literature on warp drives. Unfortunately, the Alcubierre warp drive, as it has come to be known, requires a staggering amount of energy, along with the dreaded exotic matter as a co-ingredient. This highly radioactive stuff is only theoretical and is not something researchers have actually observed in nature, much less created. A handful of variations have been suggested since, including a 2010 update to the Alcubierre drive's physical design made by former NASA engineer Dr. Harold G. Sonny White. His update reduced the amount of energy needed to a less daunting number, even though it was still not practical because the solution also still required exotic matter, albeit significantly less than the Alcubierre solution. Another group of researchers from Switzerland, known as Applied Physics APL, put forth...
Listen to what they're saying. Some guy made up some imaginary shit and they're all arguing about it. Or trying to improve it, or trying to... Yeah, it'll work if we do this or if we do that. But well, theoretically, mine is better than yours.
Their own concept. Interestingly, their drive did not need any exotic material to create its warp bubble. However, their model could not go beyond the speed of light, which is the holy grail of space travel. To explain how his concept is different from those already proposed, Lentz first...
A warp bubble. Wow, that is hilarious. I don't know if any of you guys look. I've been a hardcore sci-fi fan all my life. I was always into science. I love science. I love the sci-fi. The sci-fi is great stuff. But I know it's not real. When I was a child, when I was a kid, maybe, I don't know, around 9 or 10 years old or around that age, I seen a movie called Explorers. And it was these kids. They were messing around. 3 kids were messing around with a computer. And they were able to create a bubble. And then, so they used that bubble to go into space. And then as they got into space, aliens caught up to them. It's a great movie. It's a good movie. I honestly recommend it. I recommend it to everyone. It's pretty cool, and it's before all this 2000 plus madness, from 2020, 2022. Like we're right now is like literally 2022 is worse than a movie. It's worse than one of those 1980 movies. But anyways, yeah, Explorers is pretty good. And so this whole like warp bubble stuff has been around really, really, really long time. A really long time. This is not nothing new. So this is actually like literally a waste of time. Literally watch the movie. It's really great. You'll probably see better stuff on that movie than here. That probably makes more sense on the movie than it does here.
Points to the physical structure of the classical Alcubierre drive, on which nearly all other solutions are more or less based. He said the Alcubierre solution provided an intuitive picture of what a warp drive would do. That is, contract the space immediately in front of the central
is flat and
region
has an edge and
the
it's a
ship or
square.
transport, and expand the space immediately behind. This shows the warp drive as a wave of curvature on which a ship will ride to its destination. Even though it is the cornerstone of warp travel, Lentz argues it is not even the essential feature. Instead, he says a solution proposed by physicist Jose Notario back in 2002 showed that the expansion and contraction weren't necessary to transport the ship forward. That work prompted him to rethink how a warp could be created using only traditional matter and not exotic matter. Notario was able to prove that the expansion could be trivial or zero everywhere and still perform the same task of transporting a ship. This is a significant breakthrough because it means that exotic matter that warps the space in front of the theoretical passenger and behind them in nearly all theoretical warp drive solutions is no longer needed. And by building on Notario's theory, Lentz created his own variation that he believes is even more viable because it is rooted in conventional physics. Aside from this key material difference, Lentz indicated that his solution differs from Alcubierre and most others geometrically due to how the energy is placed around the warp bubble. In the Alcubierre solution, the energy density and curvatures are maximally separated, with the energy being restricted to a small torus between the regions of high contraction and expansion. The curvatures and sources in Lentz's proposal are instead highly correlated, with the regions of high energy density and high expansion and contraction overlapping almost exactly.
It's a disk.
These
it's a flat
geometric
disk.
distinctions
Across
between
flat
his concept
space-time.
and the traditional concepts that make Lentz.
You guys see that, right? That torus actually is like some form of a disk skipping over flat space-time. It's all flat.
Is this proposal a potentially more viable warp solution than those previously proposed?
Like it's flat
of
in the
course,
middle.
Lentz's warp drive is still completely theoretical. He does, however, see a few steps that can be taken right away to try to move his version closer to reality, which, like all previous drive theories,
he just said they're detached from reality.
includes reducing the amount of energy needed. Where does Lentz want to take his warp drive from here? He said the next target is to make a warp bubble capable of moving at 1% the speed of light using a modern-day fission reactor. The physicist said he would consider patenting his warp drive, but he made it clear his work is just part of a larger, rapidly growing body of work in this area, and that the recent increase in warp drive concepts since Alcubierre's 1994 proposal gives those in his field hope that a real, testable version may be closer than we think. Lentz said it has been exciting to see how much progress has recently been made in the field of warp drive. He thinks many more advances are ready to be made and looks forward to seeing what the next few years bring. Let's hear what you think of speed of light travel in the comments section below.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on them because I'll just destroy them. That's just too stupid. Whatever it was today, was a good little session. We seen 3 good stories. We went through them. We totally bullshit. Do you believe in science, bro?